The Bridge to a New Dawn. Prologue, the Whisper of Impermanence. In a quiet corner of the ancient world, where time seemed to flow as slowly as the river carving its way through moss-covered stones, there existed a place both mysterious and timeless, a hidden sanctuary where the old teachings of the Buddha were whispered by the wind and sung by the rustling leaves. This was a place of pilgrimage for those seeking answers to the deepest mysteries of existence. It was here, at the threshold of a new beginning, that our story unfolds. Chapter 1: The Call Beyond the Familiar. Lynn had always known comfort in the gentle embrace of her small village nestled amid emerald rice paddies and ancient banyan trees. Each day, the sun rose in a quiet ceremony over the horizon, and every dusk brought with it a meditative silence that lulled the inhabitants into peaceful slumber. Yet within Lynn's heart, a subtle disquiet stirred, the yearning for something beyond the simple cadence of daily life. Though her life was steeped in tradition and the steady rhythms of village existence, she sensed that the essence of truth lay hidden in the unknown. One crisp autumn morning, as the mist still clung to the distant mountains and amber leaves danced softly in the breeze, Lynn discovered an old parchment tucked away inside a weathered journal passed down through generations. The parchment, inscribed in delicate calligraphy and adorned with ancient Buddhist symbols, spoke of a mystical bridge, a gateway that would lead the worthy toward enlightenment. Its message was both an invitation and a challenge, to cross over from the realm of certainty into the uncharted waters of self-discovery. The parchment read, "In the space between dusk and dawn, beyond the illusion of permanence, lies the bridge to a new dawn. Only those who dare to step beyond the known may behold the truth." Haunted by the poetic words and the promise of transformation, Lynn felt an inner stirring. The parchment awakened a dormant flame within her, a desire to seek out that mysterious bridge, to traverse its span, and to unravel the riddles of life and impermanence. As she held the fragile paper between trembling fingers, a strange mixture of excitement and fear enveloped her soul. For years, she had clung to the familiar. Now, the call to adventure resonated with a clarity that could no longer be ignored. Chapter 2: Shadows of Doubt and the First Step. That evening, as twilight draped the sky in hues of deep indigo and soft gold, Lynn sat beneath the ancient Bodhi tree at the heart of her village. The tree, which had witnessed countless generations seeking solace beneath its sprawling branches, now bore silent witness to her inner turmoil. The gentle rustle of leaves above whispered age-old secrets of impermanence and the transient nature of all things, a reminder that nothing in life remained fixed, not even our deepest fears. In the dimming light, Lynn's mind was a battleground. She recalled the Buddha's teaching, all conditioned things are impermanent. Yet, the comfort of her predictable life and the warm embrace of tradition made her hesitate. The unknown loomed like a dark river, its depths concealing both promise and peril. As doubts swirled in her thoughts, what if the bridge was but a myth? What if her search led only to deeper confusion? She heard a quiet inner voice urging her onward. "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." With that simple yet profound reminder echoing within her, Lynn resolved to follow the call. In the stillness of that transformative night, she packed a small satchel with a few cherished belongings, a lotus pendant given by her mother, a worn copy of sacred verses, and a humble journal, and slipped away from the familiarity of her village into the embrace of the night. Chapter 3: The Enigmatic Path and Unseen Guides. The journey was shrouded in mystery from the very start. Lynn traversed winding dirt roads flanked by towering bamboo groves that whispered secrets in the cool night air. The path was lit only by a scattering of stars overhead, their gentle glow guiding her steps. Every rustle in the undergrowth, every distant call of an unknown creature, heightened her senses and her anticipation. There was both beauty and a strange eeriness in the darkness, a reminder that even in uncertainty, there was a profound serenity to be found. As Lin journeyed deeper into the wilderness, she encountered subtle signs that hinted she was not alone on her quest. Along the roadside, she found a small clay figurine of a meditating monk, its eyes filled with a serene wisdom that spoke of countless lifetimes of understanding. Near a quiet stream, smooth stones bore the faint imprint of ancient mantras, as though left behind by travelers who had sought the same truth. Each discovery deepened her conviction that the universe, in its infinite compassion, was guiding her toward a destiny greater than her own fears. One misty morning, while traversing a narrow mountain path, Lin came upon an old hermit seated in silent meditation beside a sparkling waterfall. His presence exuded an aura of calm that transcended the physical realm. Clad in simple robes and with a serene smile that hinted at a deep knowing, the hermit beckoned her to sit beside him. "What do you seek, dear traveler?" he asked in a gentle voice that blended with the sound of cascading water. Lin hesitated for a moment before sharing the story of the mysterious parchment and the promise of the bridge to a new dawn. The hermit's eyes sparkled with quiet understanding as he replied, "The bridge you seek is not built of stone or wood, it is woven from the fabric of your own heart and mind. To cross it, you must let go of your attachments and embrace the impermanence of all things." His words struck a chord deep within her, resonating with the core teachings of Buddhism, the acceptance of change, the understanding of suffering, and the ultimate liberation found in detachment. With renewed resolve, Lin thanked the hermit and continued her journey, carrying within her the sacred truth that the path to enlightenment was as much an inward journey as it was an outward adventure. Chapter 4: The Labyrinth of Illusions. Days melted into nights as Lin ventured further from the familiar. The landscape transformed with each step, lush valleys gave way to rugged highlands, and serene meadows evolved into mysterious, fog-laden forests. The journey was not without its perils. Nature itself seemed to test her resolve. Torrential rains battered ancient trails, and sudden mists obscured the path ahead, as if the very elements conspired to shroud the truth in mystery. One evening, after a long day of navigating treacherous mountain passes, Lin found shelter in a secluded cave. The cave's interior was illuminated by a faint, otherworldly glow, a play of light and shadow that evoked both wonder and a tinge of unease. Here, in the quiet solitude of the cave, she encountered visions that seemed to blur the line between reality and illusion. In the dim light, Lin saw images of her past, each memory unfolding like a delicate lotus blossom. There were moments of joy and sorrow, triumphs and regrets, a kaleidoscope of experiences that had shaped her identity. As she sat in silent meditation, grappling with these reflections, she realized that the mind was like the surface of a turbulent lake, ever-changing and filled with ripples of desire and fear. Yet, beneath the surface lay a deep, unchanging stillness, the essence of true self that the Buddha had spoken of. Haunted by these visions, Lin began to question the nature of reality. Was her perception of the world merely an illusion, a transient play of the mind? The cave, with its mysterious glow, became a crucible for her inner transformation. She recalled the Buddha's teachings on anatta, the concept of non-self, and understood that clinging to a fixed identity was the root of suffering. To truly embrace the bridge to a new dawn, she must dissolve the boundaries of the self and open her heart to the infinite. For several days, Lin remained in the sanctuary of the cave, engaging in deep meditation and self-inquiry. The silence was profound, broken only by the rhythmic drip of water echoing in the darkness. In that stillness, she encountered her inner demons, the fear of change, the attachments to her past, and the uncertainty of the future. With each breath, she let go of these illusions, feeling a gradual lightening of the spirit. It was as though the cave itself was a womb, nurturing the seeds of transformation that would one day blossom into the radiant truth she sought. Chapter 5: The Bridge Revealed. Emerging from the cave on a bright, dew-laden morning, Lin felt transformed. The air around her was charged with an ethereal energy, and the landscape seemed to shimmer with possibilities. As she trekked through a dense forest of ancient trees, a sudden clearing appeared before her, an almost surreal sight that took her breath away. In the center of the clearing stood a magnificent bridge, its form both delicate and imposing, as if spun from the very threads of light and shadow. The bridge arched gracefully over a deep chasm, disappearing into a luminous mist that promised both mystery and hope. It was the very embodiment of the parchment's message, a passage from the known to the unknown, from the finite to the infinite. Lin approached the bridge with a mix of awe and trepidation. Every step closer revealed intricate carvings along its railings, symbols and mantras that pulsed with ancient energy. The carvings told stories of past travelers, of those who had dared to abandon their illusions and embrace the impermanence of life. They spoke of suffering transformed into wisdom, of fear melted away by the warmth of compassion, and of the eternal cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. As she set foot on the bridge, the atmosphere shifted. The familiar weight of self-doubt began to lift, replaced by an overwhelming sense of connection to the universe. Lin felt as though she were traversing not just a physical span, but a metaphysical boundary, a threshold between the world of appearances and the realm of ultimate truth. With each measured step, she recalled the Buddha's words, "You yourself must strive. The Buddhas only point the way." The journey across the bridge was both eerie and sublime. Beneath her, the chasm seemed to whisper forgotten secrets, its depths filled with shimmering reflections of lives past and futures yet to be realized. At times, the bridge trembled as if stirred by an unseen force, testing her resolve. Yet, the gentle cadence of her footsteps, steady and mindful, carried her forward, fueled by an inner conviction that truth awaited on the other side. Halfway across, a sudden gust of wind swept over the bridge, and the carvings began to glow with a radiant light. Lin paused, feeling the presence of something ancient and benevolent guiding her. In that luminous moment, she understood that the bridge was not a barrier but a teacher, a living symbol of the Buddhist path that teaches impermanence, mindfulness, and the liberation found in transcending the self. Chapter 6: The Guardians of Wisdom. As Lin neared the end of the bridge, the luminous mist parted to reveal a vast, serene plateau. Here, nestled among gently rolling hills and bathed in the soft light of dawn, stood a magnificent temple complex. Its architecture was timeless, a blend of delicate artistry and robust simplicity, designed to evoke a deep sense of reverence and wonder. Statues of the Buddha, serene and compassionate, gazed upon the landscape with eyes that seemed to hold the secrets of millennia. At the entrance of the temple, Lin was met by a group of wise, elderly monks whose presence exuded calm authority. Their robes, in shades of saffron and ochre, flowed gracefully as they moved with deliberate, measured steps. One monk, his face lined with the gentle marks of time and his eyes sparkling with kindness, stepped forward to greet her. "Welcome, seeker," he said softly, his voice resonating like a quiet bell. "You have crossed the threshold between the world of illusions and the realm of truth. Here, you will find not answers, but deeper questions, questions that will lead you to a greater understanding of your own nature." Lin bowed deeply, feeling both humbled and honored. "I have come seeking the truth," she replied. "I have walked a long road, faced my fears, and surrendered my attachments. I wish to understand the nature of existence and the path to enlightenment." The monk smiled, his expression radiating warmth and compassion. "Then come, let us walk together. In this sacred space, we study the ancient teachings of the Buddha, not to find a final answer, but to learn how to live with wisdom and compassion amidst life's uncertainties." Over the following weeks, Lin immersed herself in the daily routines of the temple. At dawn, she rose with the first light to chant ancient sutras, her voice mingling with the soft rustle of prayer flags and the distant tolling of temple bells. During long afternoons, she sat in meditation, her mind gradually quieting as she observed the impermanence of her thoughts and feelings. The teachings of the Buddha, of suffering, of non-attachment, of the endless cycle of change, became the lodestar guiding her inner transformation. Yet even in this haven of wisdom, mystery abounded. Late one night, as Lin sat in silent meditation in a secluded corner of the temple gardens, she perceived a subtle vibration in the air, a soft hum that resonated deep within her soul. Following the sound, she discovered a hidden chamber beneath a gnarled Bodhi tree. Inside, illuminated by the flickering flame of a solitary candle, lay an ancient manuscript. Its pages were filled with cryptic verses and intricate diagrams depicting the journey of the soul across realms of existence. Drawn by an irresistible curiosity, Lin spent many nights deciphering the manuscript's riddles. Each verse seemed to hint at layers of meaning beyond ordinary perception, an invitation to look beyond the surface of reality and to explore the interconnectedness of all life. In these moments of profound introspection, she began to sense that the manuscript was not merely a relic of the past, but a living guide, a companion on the path to awakening. Chapter 7: The Inner Battlefield. While the external journey had brought Lin to the threshold of wisdom, the deeper challenge lay within her own heart. Despite the serene surroundings and the gentle guidance of the monks, echoes of doubt and fear still reverberated in the recesses of her mind. At times, in the quiet solitude of the temple's inner sanctum, she felt as if she were standing before a mirror reflecting her own inner darkness. One evening, as a monsoon rain battered the temple walls and the corridors echoed with the rhythmic patter of water, Lin retreated to her modest cell. There, in the flickering candlelight, she confronted the parts of herself that had long been shrouded in secrecy, the anger she had suppressed, the regrets that haunted her, the deep-seated fear of truly letting go. It was as if the storm outside had awakened a tempest within, and in that turbulence, she faced the paradox of human existence, the constant interplay between suffering and liberation. In the solitude of that rain-soaked night, Lin recalled the words of the Buddha, "Just as a candle cannot burn without fire, men cannot live without a spiritual life." Determined to face her inner demons, she sat in meditation for hours, allowing the memories and emotions to surface without judgment. Tears flowed freely as she acknowledged the pain of her past, yet with each exhalation, she felt the burden begin to lighten. It was a painful process, one that demanded total surrender, but she knew that the path to true enlightenment lay in embracing both the light and the darkness within. As the storm subsided and the first rays of dawn crept through the window, Lin emerged from her meditation with a renewed sense of clarity. The inner battlefield had not been won by force, but by gentle acceptance and the realization that every moment, no matter how painful, was a step on the path toward awakening. In that silent morning light, she understood that the true bridge to a new dawn was built not on external journeys, but on the quiet courage to face oneself. Chapter 8: The Revelation of Interconnectedness. The days that followed were filled with subtle yet profound transformations. Lin's meditation deepened, and her understanding of Buddhist teachings blossomed into a living truth that permeated every aspect of her being. She began to perceive the intricate web of interdependence that connected all life, a tapestry woven from the threads of compassion, impermanence, and the eternal cycle of rebirth. One afternoon, as she walked along a winding path in the temple gardens, Lin encountered a group of villagers seeking shelter from a sudden rainstorm. Among them was an elderly woman whose eyes shone with both sorrow and resilience. Moved by compassion, Lin invited the woman to share her story. Over cups of steaming tea beneath the shelter of a centuries-old tree, the woman spoke of loss, of separation from loved ones, and of the quiet despair that had haunted her since the passing of her husband. Yet, even as tears fell from her weathered eyes, the woman's voice carried a quiet dignity, a testament to the indomitable spirit that endures even in the face of profound grief. Listening intently, Lin felt a surge of empathy and realized that the teachings of the Buddha were not mere abstractions but living truths expressed in the daily struggles of ordinary people. The interwoven nature of suffering and joy, of loss and renewal, became strikingly clear. She recalled the Buddha's parable of the raft, which taught that clinging to any form, even one that leads to liberation, could hinder progress. The woman's story was a living reminder that the path to enlightenment was paved with compassion and understanding for oneself and for others. Determined to honor the interconnectedness of all beings, Lin began to incorporate her insights into daily practice. She spent hours tending to the temple gardens, each careful stroke of her hands planting seeds of hope that would one day blossom into vibrant life. In these moments of mindful labor, she saw that the cycle of nature mirrored the cycle of human existence, each end giving rise to a new beginning, each loss a precursor to eventual rebirth. The once mysterious manuscript she had discovered now revealed itself as a metaphor for life's journey, its cryptic verses a map pointing toward the universal truth that all things are in constant flux. Chapter 9: The Test of Conviction. Just as Lin's inner world was opening up to the luminous possibilities of truth, the tranquility of the temple was shaken by an unexpected visitor, a mysterious traveler cloaked in ragged garments and shrouded in an air of secrecy. The man, who introduced himself only as Han, carried with him an aura of both wisdom and warning. His eyes, dark and penetrating, seemed to hold the weight of countless lifetimes. He spoke in riddles about fate, destiny, and the eternal interplay of karma, challenging even the most devout monks in the temple with questions that stirred doubts and ignited fierce debates. Han's presence unsettled the established order. His provocative inquiries: is true liberation possible when the mind clings to its own illusions? And can one truly break free from the chains of suffering without first embracing its darkness? Resonated deeply with Lin. She found herself torn between the comfort of accepted wisdom and the raw, unsettling truths that Han laid bare. His words were like a double-edged sword, slicing through the veils of dogma and inviting her to confront the paradoxes of existence head-on. One evening, as the temple's courtyard glowed under the gentle light of lanterns, Han challenged the gathered disciples to a public debate. The air was thick with anticipation as voices rose and fell like the cadence of ancient chants. Lin, her heart pounding with both trepidation and determination, rose to speak. With a voice both gentle and firm, she recounted her own journey, a journey from the safety of familiarity through the trials of inner turmoil, culminating in the discovery of the mystical bridge and the profound realization of interdependence. Her words, imbued with personal experience and the quiet wisdom of meditation, touched many in the crowd. Yet Han pressed on, questioning the very foundations of her newfound insights. "Does your truth hold up in the face of life's inevitable suffering?" he demanded, his eyes fixed intently on hers. In that charged moment, Lin closed her eyes and summoned the teachings of the Buddha that had guided her through her darkest hours. She recalled the impermanence of all phenomena, the interconnected nature of joy and sorrow, and the eternal truth that suffering was not an end, but a beginning, a catalyst for transformation. When she opened her eyes, they shone with an inner light that spoke of both conviction and compassion. "I have come to understand," she replied softly, "that to truly embrace the new dawn, one must accept the darkness as an integral part of the light. Without sorrow, joy loses its meaning. Without loss, the beauty of renewal would be lost." We are all bound by the same impermanence, and it is in our shared vulnerability that we find our greatest strength. Her words, resonant with both courage and humility, silenced the crowd. Even Han, for a fleeting moment, allowed a small smile to cross his weathered face, a sign that perhaps even he recognized the truth in her confession. Chapter 10: The Revelation and the Return. In the days that followed the debate, the temple seemed to breathe a new energy, a sense of collective awakening that rippled through every corner of the sanctuary. Han, no longer a mere disruptor, became a silent observer, his presence now imbued with a quiet respect for the transformative power of truth. Lin continued her studies, delving even deeper into the ancient manuscripts and meditative practices that had set her on this path. The once elusive mystery of the bridge now took on a tangible quality, a living metaphor for the passage from ignorance to enlightenment. One serene morning, as the sun's first rays bathed the temple in a gentle golden glow, Lin sat in quiet contemplation at the foot of the ancient Bodhi tree. In that stillness, a realization blossomed within her, a sudden clarity that illuminated the entire journey. The bridge she had crossed was not an external structure, but an inner transition. It was the moment when she had shed the layers of conditioned thought and fear, revealing the radiant, interconnected self that had always existed beneath the surface. Tears of joy and release streamed down her face as she whispered a silent prayer of gratitude to the universe. In that sacred moment, every step of her journey, from the discovery of the parchment to the fierce debates in the temple courtyard, merged into one eternal truth, that the search for enlightenment is a path of continual becoming, where every end is a new beginning. Determined to share this profound insight with others, Lin decided it was time to return to her village. Though she had grown in wisdom and compassion, the call of her roots and the yearning of her people were too powerful to ignore. With the blessings of the monks and the quiet nod of Han, who had become both a challenger and a friend, Lin began her long journey back along the winding paths of the wilderness. The journey home was now imbued with a radiant purpose. Every step resonated with the teachings of impermanence and mindfulness. The landscape, once shrouded in mystery, now unfolded like a scroll of living art, each tree, each stream, each whisper of wind a reminder of the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. The village, when it finally came into view, greeted her not as a place of confinement, but as a living testament to the beauty of simplicity and the power of inner transformation. As Lin walked through the familiar streets of her village, she noticed how every face, every gesture, was touched by the soft glow of compassion. The lessons she had learned resonated in every conversation, every shared smile. Her journey had not only transformed her, but had also sown seeds of awakening among those who had been waiting for a glimpse of the new dawn. Epilogue: A New Dawn. Years passed, and the legend of Lin's journey spread far beyond the boundaries of her small village. Travelers, seekers, and wanderers came from distant lands to learn about the mystical bridge and the eternal quest for truth. In the quiet moments of early morning, as the village stirred to life with the gentle hum of existence, the words of the ancient parchment continued to echo. In the space between dusk and dawn, beyond the illusion of permanence, lies the bridge to a new dawn. Lin, now a revered teacher, often sat beneath the Bodhi tree that had once witnessed her own transformation. With eyes that sparkled with the light of wisdom and a heart open to the eternal dance of life, she would share her story, a story of suspense and mystery, of fear faced and overcome, and of a deep, abiding search for truth. In every whispered word and every compassionate smile, the legacy of her journey lived on, inspiring countless souls to cross their own bridges, to leave behind the confines of certainty, and to embrace the infinite possibilities of a new dawn. And so, in the quiet moments between night and day, when the world seemed suspended in a delicate balance, those who listened closely could hear the gentle cadence of a timeless truth, a reminder that every ending is but the prelude to a new beginning, and that the bridge to a new dawn is built not of stone or wood, but of the courage to let go, the wisdom to understand, and the love that binds all beings together.